On a winter afternoon in Manhattan, a very large man in a suit walked out of an office building on Fifth Avenue carrying a pizza box. He ate as he walked. He did not finish the crusts. Almost nobody does. He dropped the box into a public trash can and kept going. Behind him, people he had never noticed stopped walking. They pulled the box out of the bin, and they sent it to a laboratory. For 13 years, the bodies of women had been turning up in the scrub grass along a highway on Long Island, and nobody could say who had put them there. It was one of the largest unsolved serial murder investigations in the United States. It ended because a man did not eat his crusts. This is Midnight Faceless Crimes. If you find this kind of thing as unsettling as I do, take a second to like the video and follow the channel. It genuinely helps. He pleaded guilty. He stood in a courtroom and answered the questions out loud. There is no version of this where he says he did not do it. In December of 2010, an officer walking a cadaver dog through the brush along Ocean Parkway on Long Island found human remains wrapped in burlap. Within 2 days, they found 3 more. 4 women, laid out along a quarter-mile of roadside, each bound in the same coarse fabric, each placed a few hundred feet from a highway by someone who knew that nobody walks there. They kept searching. More remains were recovered along that coast and elsewhere on the island over the following months. Some were identified quickly. Some took years. Before we go any further, the women. Melissa Barthelemy was 24 from Buffalo with a younger sister who adored her. Megan Waterman was 22 from Maine with a 3-year-old daughter. Lynn Costello was 27, and the people who loved her were still trying to get her out of an addiction that had taken most of her 20s. Maureen Brainard-Barnes was 25 and had 2 children. Jessica Taylor was 20. Valerie Mack was 24. Sandra Costilla was 28. Vergata was 34. Most of them were advertising as escorts online. That detail did not explain why they were killed. It explained why it took so long. When these women stopped answering their phones, the people who reported it were not always taken seriously. Their names went into the system with a category attached, and that category came with assumptions. There is a thing predators understand. If you choose people the world has already decided not to look for, the world will keep not looking. What followed was a decade of nothing. Suffolk County had a serial murder case, a national press corps, and a police department that could not get out of its own way. The FBI offered help that was not meaningfully taken up. The man who ran that department through much of it was, in time, convicted in a federal case and sent to prison. So the file sat, and inside it was a witness statement. One of the women, Lynn Costello, had been last seen leaving her house to meet a client. Someone who knew her had gotten a look at the vehicle that came for her. He described a first-generation Chevrolet Avalanche, a pickup truck with a body shape anyone who knows trucks can identify on sight. That description was taken in 2010. It sat unread for 12 years. In 2022, a new district attorney named Ray Tierney built a task force. County police, state police, the FBI, and his own office in one room sharing everything. They did not start with a new lead. They started with the old ones and read them properly. They found the description of the truck. Then they did the most unglamorous thing in police work. They went to the motor vehicle records and asked who in the area had owned one. The search produced a name: Rex Heuermann. An architect 60 years old living in Massapequa Park, directly across the bay from where the bodies had been found. A 10-minute drive. A wife, 2 adult children, an office on Fifth Avenue. Owning a truck is not a crime. A description from 12 years earlier is not evidence. But there was a hair on the burlap, recovered years before, that had never matched anyone. To compare that hair to Rex Heuermann, they needed something of his, and they could not ask. The district attorney explained it afterward in a way that stays with me. They wanted the one person who mattered, the murderer, to believe it was business as usual. Because the moment he knew, evidence would go into a fire and devices would go into a river. A man that careful, given a week's warning, would leave them with nothing. So they followed him, not for a day, for months. A surveillance team watched a 60-year-old architect go to work and go home and go to lunch, and waited for him to throw something away. That is what it came down to, not a raid. A team of adults standing on a sidewalk in Manhattan, waiting for a man to discard something with his own cells on it in a public place where they could take it without a warrant. In January of 2023, he came out of his building with a pizza box. He ate, he walked, he dropped it in a bin on 5th Avenue. The DNA on the crusts matched the hair on the burlap. On the 13th of July, 2023, they arrested him on the sidewalk outside his own office. No chase. No barricade. A large man in a suit put in handcuffs at the end of a working day. The search of the house took almost 2 weeks. On one of his devices, they found a planning document, lists of supplies, locations he referred to as dump sites, notes to himself about what to do differently, written in the flat, practical language of a man reviewing a project. His family had been away each time. They had no idea. His wife filed for divorce within days. For 3 years, he said he was innocent. He pleaded not guilty and prepared for trial. On the 8th of April, 2026, he changed his mind. In a courtroom in Riverhead, New York, with his ex-wife and his daughter sitting behind him, Rex Heuermann pleaded guilty to the murders of 7 women. Then he admitted to an 8th. The district attorney questioned him directly. Asked how he had killed them, he answered with a single word: strangulation. He confirmed a span of 17 years from 1993 to 2010 in the tone of a man checking details on a form. Witnesses said he showed no emotion. He did not turn around. In June, he was sentenced to 3 consecutive terms of life without parole, plus 100 years. The judge called him a coward. The family stood up and applauded. Here is what stays with me: 17 years of killing, 13 years of an investigation that could not close, a description of a truck sitting unread in a file for over a decade until somebody put every agency in one room and started at the beginning. He was not undone by brilliance. He was undone by patience and by the fact that he was a man in a hurry on a Manhattan sidewalk who threw away the part he did not want. Melissa, Megan, Amber, Maureen, Jessica, Valerie, Sandra, Corinne. If this is your kind of thing, the channel is Midnight Faceless Crimes, and there is a new one every week. Like the video, follow the channel, and I will see you in the next one.